Hi, and welcome to Cockatude, Cockatoos with Attitude. And today we're going to talk about salamander and the use of ABA. Mr. Salamander is a big bird, weighing around 950 grams. He's a big guy. And he's just looking at me and saying, "What's going on with that camera?" Now, every bird in our sanctuary is treated with two things: loving kindness and applied behavior analysis. And applied behavior analysis is one of those things that's based on what we call operant conditioning. In other words, operant is the one that's doing the work, and the one that's doing the work is the bird, okay? You want the bird to make its own choices. That's a key to ABA. I'll get into that a little more on that in a minute. Yes, I see you up there, Sugar. You big, beautiful bird. You big, beautiful bird. What do you want? What do you want? Oh, yeah. Pet me, I know. Okay, first of all, I don't believe in love. If you notice that people, they get together, they get in love, and the next thing you know, they hate each other, they've gone through a divorce, and no, I don't believe in that. What I believe in is loving kindness. Loving kindness is an action. It's something that you're doing, okay? Love is one of these indefinables. Nobody can really define what it is. But loving kindness, that's easy to define. That's treating others with special kindness, okay? And it's important when you're working with these guys that you're going to work with them no matter what. Whether they bite or whether they scream or whatever issues come up, you have to say, I'm going to work with them no matter what, and we're going to get through this. Now, the basics of ABA, it's science. It's not gut feelings that rule the day. There aren't any FIDs. There are no feathered kids. These are not children. These are wild animals. They're the direct descendants of dinosaurs. In fact, they are dinosaurs. So you want to make sure you don't try to turn them into humans. So you don't want to turn them into kids. Yes, Bob. You don't want to turn them into kids because they're not. They're not kids at all. So you don't want to do that. You want to focus on the behavior that you see and also some behavior that you hear. And try to remember that whenever you're around a bird, there's training going on. And usually that training goes both ways. Hi, Pippa. Hi, Pip Pip. Hi, Pip Pip. That's not a Pip. That's a sugar face. That's a sugar face. Yeah, a sugar face. What a cutie. What a cutie. So you're going to use observation. This is basically what you do. You use observation of behavior to form a plan. You then test and implement changes that could encourage a bird to choose behaviors that are good for them and suitable for you, okay? So you're going to do replacement behaviors, or there's a lot of different things you're going to do, but the focus is observation, planning, testing, and implementing changes. Now let's give you a little background on Sal. When I first met this guy, he was a cruise missile. There he is. He doesn't look like a cruise missile. Does he look like he belongs in North Korea? No, he doesn't. But he was a cruise missile. And I was told that he had a twisted spine. There was something wrong with his back. Well, it's not really true. He has a twisted pelvis. It was so shocking to Dr. Jenkins when I took him in for x-rays. I ordered to pay for one x-ray, and we got 8 because the doc was just trying to figure out how in the heck he ended up like this. We can't tell if it was congenital, if it happened before he was hatched, or if it happened later. Pip, 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 pip. There's a pippa. And that back there is Jasmine. That's our little Jazz. Hey, Jazzy bird. She's got that. You see that dark spot on her tail? That's because she stuck her tail into peanut butter. Oh well, she loves peanut butter. I guess if you love something, you can wear it, right? So He also had inappropriate mating behaviors. He was trying to basically have sex with anything he got close to, especially me. The lady who relinquished him, he just wanted to like attack her face, and I think it was because she had boyfriends and he didn't like that. It's hard to say. He also has a problem with, he has a problem with bottles. Okay, if you bring a bottle of beer in, or even if it's O'Doul's, if it looks like beer, he'll attack you with it. So if you want to give up drinking, he's a good bird for that. That beak is big enough to encourage you, right? It's definitely big enough to encourage you. So the x-rays showed that he had a twisted pelvis, so we know we're going to have to deal with pain. He doesn't have a great deal of mobility. He can't move around a lot. He has feather destructive behavior. It's minor, but he has to have some Haldol. Right now he's on 0.13 milliliters of the 2 milligram per milliliter solution. Another thing he needs is regular physical contact. If you don't give him enough, which is at least 10 minutes a day, just walking by him, giving him attention, that kind of thing, he starts to go nuts and he'll spin around in his cage. And I've had a couple of days where I was not feeling well and I couldn't get him the attention he needed, and it doesn't work out well. So he does need that physical attention. His diet and droppings are normal, no problems with that. His weight's normal. He gets meloxicam when he needs it, which is a painkiller and an anti-inflammatory for his back. I think the most important thing with him, though, is behavioral. You have to give him that snuggling for at least 2 5-minute sessions a day, or he starts to go a little bit loose. His behavior starts to go... Well, his behavior starts to look like all that junk on the bottom of the aviary, pretty much. Just scattered all over the place. So I always talk to him when I enter into a room. If he's in that room, and he could be in the night room or the day room or in the socialization room, I will talk to him. I always ask to have him sit with me when I'm in the aviary. Sometimes he will, sometimes he won't, and that's based on who's sitting around my lap. If Bob is there and Cecil's got a toy, he's probably not coming over. If Cecil has a toy, most birds won't get near Cecil, because Cecil becomes Cecil Hyde. Yeah, normally he's Cecil Jekyll, but with a toy. Now also, that same behavior does come when I'm closing up the aviary and taking them out. Cecil will sometimes start bothering a number of birds, but the one he'll bother the most is salamander, so I try to get old Sal out as fast as I can. In the aviary, first the challenges in the aviary. Babaloo's a mixed bag. Bob will get over and preen with him, and he'll go over to Bob and stick his head there to get preened. He's tried that with Sugar, but I don't think Sugar really knows what he's asking, which is funny because Sugar does the same thing. She's always sticking her head out for somebody to preen her. It will usually work well at first when Bob is preening him, and then Bob lifts up his foot. As soon as Bob lifts up his foot towards another bird, I separate him, okay? It's my job to get him separated. Sometimes Salamander will do it on his own and take off, and I'll just use my hands as guards. You have to learn to use your hands as barriers. That means you must value their happiness more than an occasional bite on the hands. Although I've been doing this so long, I rarely get bitten. Because I've just learned each bird so well. You add a new one in the mix, you never know what's going to happen. I was told that Jasmine would get up behind, if she got above your head, she would bite you. Well, and I just laughed. And they go, "Oh, seriously, you have to watch out." No, she hasn't done it. But part of that is just because I'm using these techniques. And, anybody can learn them. You can go out to Animal Training 101 and learn these things. Right, Cecil? Right, Lorelei? No, she's going to eat my clothing. Lorelei, don't eat my pants, you silly. Here's Bob preening. Mr. Bob. So, with Cecil, it's another mixed bag. Cecil will preen him, and he's good about it. Right, Sal? And Sal says I'm sleeping. But he'll definitely preen him, and he gets along with him, except when he's either exiting the cage, when we're exiting the cages, I've got to wash him clothes. Or if he gets a toy, like with any other bird, that toy can cause a problem. You know, Cecil does get along with most of the other birds, but he'll scare them if he's in his Cecil hide mode. So, lines of attack that Mr. Sal will sometimes do. He will sometimes go after Sugar. He will sometimes go after Lucy. And occasionally he'll like shove some other bird out of the way, just push past them. I found they tend to do that, push past each other. And he's such a big bird, it's kind of tough on him if he's trying to push past somebody. They have a tendency to like hang upside down. Now, where most birds in our sanctuary actually have the ability to fly, not all do, because some of them are physically incapable, like Peaches with her 6 fused vertebrae in her neck. On lower doses of Haldol, Salamander acts impulsively, tosses his head, spins his head around in circles, and other birds become targets. So you have to keep him at his 0.13. If you start lowering it down, he'll be okay for a little while, and then he'll start kind of going nuts. And, it's the pain of you can only guess here, and it's strictly conjecture, but it's probably the pain of that twisted pelvis, which is severely twisted. It's a 90-degree angle out of where it should be. That's what's causing most of the difficulty. So I use ABA to encourage him to visit my lap, and that's a secondary reinforcement. I'll pet him and say nice things to him. That's secondary reinforcement. I praise him when he's calm, when he's socializing, doing anything upbeat. I use no to stop the rare aggression. I redirect him if a bird he's socializing with is moving towards aggression, then I'll redirect him out of the area. I loudly praise his acceptable vocalizations, and when he does that sound from Dumb and Dumber, that most horrible sound, I ignore it. But keep in mind, I'm praising his good sounds and ignoring the bad ones, the ones I don't want to hear. It's not good or bad, but the ones I want to hear, I'm praising. The ones I don't want to hear, I'm ignoring. Don't ever try just ignoring something without having something on the other side. It's like a teeter-totter. If you praise, if you just ignore the one sound and you don't do anything else, that teeter-totter is going to flip to the side and it's not going to do anything. You're not going to get that sound to stop. So, I get the aggressors out of the aviary quickly. Or I get him out first if there's a lot of targeting going on. So that's basically how I deal with Sal in the aviary. Thank you so much for watching. Please support us by becoming a patron at patreon.com. And thank you so much, those of you who support us. Without that support, we couldn't keep doing what we're doing. Money's tight, and I know it's not easy, but we sure appreciate the support if you can do it. And a shout out to April at the Parrot Playhouse for all the work she's done to help us.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.